Rolex. No other word in luxury carries the same weight. It's the brand your grandpa aspired to own, the watch rappers brag about, and the one thing on Wall Street that's more reliable than the stock market. But beyond the hype, what is a Rolex really? And more importantly, how do you know which one is right for you? The icons. Let's start with the undisputed kings, the watches that are so famous they've become cultural shorthand for success. If Rolex were a band, these would be the greatest hits. First up, the Submariner. This isn't just a watch, it's the watch. Introduced in 1953, it was one of the first dive watches ever made, and it set the standard for everything that came after it. It's the James Bond watch, the Steve McQueen watch, the watch that looks just as good with a tuxedo as it does with a wetsuit. The modern Submariner is a masterpiece of engineering, water-resistant to 300 meters, with a unidirectional ceramic bezel that's virtually scratch-proof and a glide-lock clasp that lets you adjust the bracelet on the fly. It's rugged, timeless, and effortlessly cool. The Submariner is for the guy who wants one perfect watch to do everything, from the boardroom to the beach, even if his version of diving is just reaching for an olive at the bottom of his martini. It's the safest, most respected choice in the catalog, and for good reason. It's perfect. Next, we have the Datejust. If the Submariner is the king of sport, the Datejust is the king of class. First released in 1945 to celebrate Rolex's 40th anniversary, it was the world's first automatic wristwatch to display the date in a window on the dial. That little cyclops bubble over the date? That's a Rolex signature, and it started here. The Datejust is the definition of versatility. With its signature fluted bezel and Jubilee bracelet, it's instantly recognizable. It comes in a dizzying array of sizes, metals, and dial colors, meaning there's a Datejust for literally every personality on Earth. It's the watch you get for a graduation, a promotion, a wedding. It's less of a tool and more of a companion, a piece that's meant to mark the milestones in your life. It doesn't scream for attention, but it commands respect. It was a poster child for quiet luxury before that was even a term. And then there's the final face on our Mount Rushmore, the Day-Date. Forget quiet luxury, this is a full-throated roar of success. Introduced in 1956, the Day-Date was another world first, displaying both the date and the day of the week, spelled out in full. It's famously known as the President's Watch because it has been worn by more world leaders, titans of industry, and actual presidents than any other watch in history. Here's the catch: the Day-Date is only made in precious metals, gold or platinum. There is no steel entry-level version. Buying a Day-Date is a declaration. It says you haven't just arrived, you've owned the building for years. It's the ultimate power move, the final boss of the Rolex classics. The tools of the trade. Now let's get into the watches that were born in the field, the sky, and on the racetrack. These are the professional models, each one a specialized tool designed to do a very specific job. The GMT-Master 2 is the quintessential pilot's watch. Originally developed in the 1950s with Pan Am Airlines for their intercontinental pilots, the GMT-Master was designed to track 2 time zones at once using a fourth hand and a rotating 24-hour bezel. The iconic two-tone bezels weren't just for looks, they helped pilots distinguish between daytime and nighttime hours in their second time zone. This is where you get the legendary nicknames. The blue and red is the Pepsi, the black and blue is the Batman, and the brown and black is the root beer. Today, the GMT-Master 2 is the ultimate companion for the modern jet setter. It's a statement piece that's also incredibly functional, a symbol of a global lifestyle. It says you're someone who is always on the move, whose life can't be contained by a single time zone. From the sky to the asphalt, we have the Cosmograph Daytona. If the GMT is for the pilot, The Daytona is for the driver. Designed for the world of professional motorsport, this is Rolex's legendary chronograph. It allows you to time-lapse and calculate average speeds using the tachymeter scale on the bezel. While it wasn't a huge hit when it first launched, its popularity exploded thanks to one man, Paul Newman. The actor and race car driver famously wore a specific exotic dial version that became so sought after, it's now known as the Paul Newman Daytona. One of his own, sold for a world record $17.8 million. Today, the Daytona is arguably the most hyped, most sought after, and most unobtainable watch on the planet. Getting one from a dealer at retail is like winning the lottery. It's a pure, uncut status symbol, a piece of motorsport history on your wrist. And for the person whose field is the actual field, there's the Explorer. This watch is all about adventure. Rolex has been testing its watches in extreme environments since the 1930s, equipping mountaineers and explorers and using their feedback to build tougher timepieces. The Explorer was born from this legacy, famously launching in 1953 after Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay's historic first ascent of Mount Everest. It is the definition of a tool watch. Simple, brutally tough, and incredibly legible with its iconic 369 dial. Its bigger brother, the Explorer 2, adds a 24-hour hand and a fixed bezel designed for speleologists, that's cave explorers, to help them distinguish day from night when they're deep underground. The Explorer is for the person who values substance over style. It's an understated badge of honor, a watch that's built to be used and abused. Kings of the deep. We've talked about the Submariner, but for Rolex, 300 meters was just a starting point. For the serious, professional deep-sea divers, they created a whole new class of ultra-resistant watches. First is the Sea Dweller. Introduced in 1967, this is the Submariner's bigger, more hardcore brother. It was developed for saturation divers who spend days or weeks at extreme depths, breathing a helium-rich gas mixture. The problem was that tiny helium atoms would seep into the watch. During decompression, this trapped helium could expand and pop the crystal right off. Rolex's ingenious solution was the helium escape valve, a one-way valve that lets the helium out safely. The modern Sea Dweller is a beast, water-resistant to an insane 1,220 meters or 4,000 feet. It's bigger, thicker, and more robust than a sub, a true professional instrument. But even that wasn't enough. For the absolute lunatic fringe of deep-sea exploration, Rolex created the Deep Sea. This watch is an engineering marvel, a monument to overkill. Thanks to its patented ring lock system, a super-strong nitrogen-alloyed steel ring inside the case, the Deep Sea can withstand the crushing pressure found at 3,900 meters or 12,800 feet. The sapphire crystal is 5.5 millimeters thick. It's a hilariously over-engineered piece of kit, but it's a statement about Rolex's technical prowess. And if that's not enough, there's the Deep Sea Challenge, a 50-millimeter titanium monster rated to an absolutely comical 11,000 meters. These watches aren't for everyday wear. They are wearable submarines, symbols of humanity's desire to conquer the deepest, darkest corners of the planet. The unconventional and the elegant. Not every Rolex is a tool designed for a specific job. Some are designed for leisure, complexity, and pure, unadulterated style. Take the Yacht-master. At first glance, it looks a bit like a Submariner, but it's a completely different animal. The Yacht-master is not a dive watch. It's a luxury nautical watch, designed for life on the deck of a super yacht, not deep below it. It's softer, more elegant, with rounded case edges and, crucially, a bezel made of precious metal like platinum or gold. It's a watch that signals you're the one who owns the boat, not the one scrubbing the barnacles off it. It bridges the gap between the ruggedness of the professional models and the elegance of the classic line. It's sporty, but in a champagne at the regatta kind of way. Then we have the Sky Dweller, Rolex's most complicated watch and a true sleeper hit. This is a watch for the first-class traveler. It combines a dual time zone feature with an annual calendar, a clever mechanism that automatically knows the difference between 30 and 31-day months. The truly genius part is the ring command bezel. The fluted bezel isn't just for decoration, it's a functional part of the movement. By turning the bezel to one of 3 positions, you can select which function you want to set, date, local time, or reference time using just the crown. It's an incredibly intuitive and complex system hidden in a beautifully elegant package. The Sky Dweller is the thinking man's power watch. It's big, it's bold, and it's a signal of sophisticated taste. And for a touch of unique history, there's the Air King. This watch has one of the longest-running names in the Rolex catalog, paying tribute to the pilots of the RAF in the 1930s. The modern Air King has a very distinctive look, with a black dial featuring large 3, 6, and 9 numerals for hours, alongside a prominent minute scale for navigational time readings. With its green Rolex logo and second hand, it's one of the quirkiest and most recognizable models in the lineup. It shares its case with the Milgauss, meaning it's highly resistant to magnetic fields. It's a watch with a unique personality, a nod to Rolex's aviation heritage that stands apart from the crowd. The purest form and the new classic. Let's look at the watch that represents Rolex in its most essential form and the brand's newest nod to traditional elegance. The Oyster Perpetual is, in many ways, the purest expression of a Rolex. It's the direct descendant of the original 1926 waterproof Oyster watch, the timepiece that started it all. It has no date, no complications, no rotating bezels. It's just a beautifully made, incredibly reliable, self-winding, waterproof watch. It's everything you need and nothing you don't. For years, it was considered the humble entry point to the brand, but in 2020, Rolex injected it with a shot of adrenaline, releasing a range of vibrant, colorful dials, turquoise, yellow, coral red, that made the OP one of the hottest watches on the market. It's the perfect one-watch collection for someone who appreciates clean design and impeccable quality. And last, but certainly not least, is the Perpetual 1908. Introduced in 2023, this is Rolex's brand new line of classical dress watches, effectively replacing the more formal Cellini collection. The name pays homage to the year Hans Wilsdorf officially trademarked the name Rolex. This is a pure, unadulterated dress watch. It's slim, elegant, and comes exclusively in precious metals with a leather strap. The most exciting part for watch nerds is the see-through case back, a rarity for Rolex, which allows you to admire the beautifully finished new movement inside. The 1908 is Rolex's signal that it's serious about competing with the old guard of traditional Swiss watchmaking. It's a nod to the past and a confident step into a more refined future. The Rolex catalog is a universe of its own. Each watch is a character, a tool, a symbol. So have you figured out which one you are? Whether you're the adventurous explorer, the powerful day date, or the iconic submariner, each watch tells a story. The only question is, which story do you want to tell? Let me know in the comments which Rolex defines you. And if you enjoyed this journey through watchmaking royalty, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time.